Okay. Hi. Please, can you introduce yourself?
هاي اسمش Daibhidh Walker. I is همينة مخلصية on the Silver Mechanic. I'm David Walker, and as you would probably know, look out that Davy is David. So, and I'm an actor in uh, primarily in Gaelic work, so television, radio, and theatre, and any other work I can get.
Excellent. So, could you tell us some of the things you've been in that people might recognize you from?
Oh well, probably the most. I'm not too sure at the moment. I've the thing that's on at the moment is probably Bannon.
Hmm.
It's drama soap that's on BBC Alapa and has been going for the last 8 years, and actually just coming to the end of actually filming this month the last actual episodes of that. So, and some of the other stuff, Gross Urker, Crowley and Cream. I've done comedy Rasher Around Dan. PC Alistair Stewart, I co-wrote with a friend of mine, Robbie Fraser, and we did that for BBC. That's for quite a few years ago now. So, and just various other programs over the years. So I can't think off the top of my head at the moment.
Excellent. So, can you tell us what life is like as a Gaelic speaker?
Well, probably when I was growing up, I grew up in our school. When I went to primary school first, we didn't have Gaelic as as the main kind of teaching, so we got maybe 1 hour a week. So over the years, then going to secondary school and leaving, but also having the opportunity to go to Solmo Rustic and do an acting course there, which unfortunately didn't continue, but certainly kind of helped me kind of steep my foot in kind of using my Gaelic rather than going to say all English kind of drama school or something like that. So I found it quite good that you could use Gaelic. We also used English in certain parts of it, but um, over the years that's definitely helped because, well, probably in the 90s, as a full-time working actor, which isn't easy in any language, and so it's been quite a privilege actually to have the opportunity to have outlets to kind of work on different projects. So it's been very good to me over the years, and also where you can work not solely in Gaelic as a Gaelic project, but where you can work together on a kind of a bilingual project and stuff. I've done a few of them over the years, so um, I find that it kind of that's been very good. So rather than just total Gaelic. So
Hmm.
there's a kind of a connection between the two, so that you're not in different corners. That's to say.
Okay. This is possibly an odd question, but do you think there's any difference between acting in English and acting in Gaelic?
Um, I don't think so, really. I think it's um, maybe sometimes it probably comes down to language and what people would get in certain things, but whereas English, is like, well, it's kind of a wider used language, so it's like certain idioms or something in Gaelic would probably not be understood by maybe a non-Gaelic speaker or something like that. But primarily the acting itself, I think it's just the same really. But Gaelic sounds much nicer.
But you might be a wee bit biased.
Yes, I maybe I,
So the Gaelic acting that you're working on, so I'm assuming you've also done theatre work. Is that Gaelic translations or is that plays that or work that is written? initially in Gaelic?
Both actually. Over the years, kind of worked on various kind of projects that kind of new writing and kind of historical kind of pieces. And in the last few years, I worked with Glasgow Life. They were um, giving out, asking for people with ideas for projects. And over the years, I had an idea to do a Shakespeare piece.
Oh,
So we did Macbeth. Oh, now I'll have to go out to the room and come in
that's right.
sometimes
The
for
play,
swears.
the play that should never be mentioned.
So we did Macbeth, and I did that as a one-man show first in
Okay.
Glasgow. So it was just a kind of a piece of well, it was an experimental piece first, and then
Mm,
we kind of worked with a writer, Ian MacDonald, who translated it, and he used kind of more kind of older Gaelic. So we went back to using that kind of language, and then we did the piece of work, and it was well received. And then we did it as a two-hander.
hmm.
So we went on. We got some money from Creative Scotland to carry on the project, and we did it as a two-hander, where it just kind of concentrated on Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, so kind of relationship together.
Hmm.
So we just picked up uh, all the kind of pieces of the text from that. So, and Ian did a fantastic job of translating them. So, and it worked really well because some of the people who had come to see it said that they kind of understood the story a wee bit better now than they did in English. Like some people who had been in school who had been doing Macbeth and Shakespeare and stuff. And so they found it kind of easier to understand in Gaelic, which I
That's
did myself
very
because I wasn't
interesting.
really. I liked kind of Shakespeare, but I just kind of maybe stood away from it because you're just going, I'm not really
Hmm.
sure what what's going on here. But then we went on and did a one-man show of A Midsummer Night's Dream over the last couple of years. So,
Hmm.
and that went down pretty well. So we just used the kind of what do you call it, the character of Puck to tell the kind of whole story
Hmm.
within 40 minutes. So, and using puppetry. Well, it's not really puppets, but it's like using objects like books and
Hmm.
bricks and stuff like that. Though. So, and we translated that. Well, Ian MacDonald again translated that into Gaelic. So we found it really worked really well, and we found it kind of brought an audience from an English, also an English kind of speaking audience who are very familiar with the play,
Hmm.
and using them kind of established kind of pieces. I think it kind of drew people in also, you know. So,
I guess it's similar. If you weren't a Gaelic speaker, it would be a similar experience as to watching an opera in Italian.
yeah,
You don't necessarily understand all the words, but the emotions and
yeah,
the
yeah,
essence you
yeah,
get.
yeah.
So, could we be a wee bit cheeky and ask for a wee snippet of one of those bits if you have them on the top of your head?
Oh, the truth. I couldn't even think of it now. Uh, oh no, it's kind of going out of my head.
Not
Sorry.
a problem.
So,
Not a problem at all. Um, so, are there any kind of like Gaelic stories or anecdotes that you'd like to tell us?
I'm not too sure really. Well, there's kind of I couldn't kind of think of one. You know, that's like over the years. There's probably kind of things that she would kind of interest me was kind of maybe kind of ghost stories and stuff like that. You know,
Hmm.
I'm originally from South US, so and kind of listening to some of these kind of ghost stories about the car that appears during the night and you see the lights but then disappears and
Hmm.
stuff like this, and also just kind of old stories used. I think there was a South Uist collections. I'm not sure if I've got the book. I've got it somewhere, but I think it's called Angus MacLennan's kind of story. So
Hmm.
there's loads of kind of small, short stories there. So
And you mentioned the idioms before. So are Gaelic idioms different from English idioms, would you say?
yeah, yeah, I would think so. Yeah. It's just, I suppose it's just to get the meaning. There's probably less of them. I would think there's more in English than there are in Gaelic, but it's because I was working on a kind of writing a cartoon kind of quite recently,
Hmm.
and it was kind of hard trying to think of some of the Gaelic idioms. You know, you would think of loads of stuff in English. You know, kind of I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but certain things of in English.
Hmm.
But to say it in Gaelic, it would take about another 20 or 30 words, you know.
Yeah.
Something, so it's kind of in that kind of sense, but it's kind of quite good.
Do you have a favorite Gaelic idiom or
No,
one that
no,
you use
no,
more often?
no, probably, I'm not too sure, really, to tell you the truth. Mm. I like
So,
them all, that's
mhm. Are there any kind of stories or folklore or traditions, either from the islands, from South Uist, or from the Gaelic community that you think might make an interesting or fun game?
thinking off the top of my head, just kind of thinking, not that I know much about the Lords of the Isles, you know.
Hmm.
I was thinking all about that. You know, it's just kind of traces the history of Gaelic and also the kind of clan system and all that kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
I thought maybe that would be quite kind of a good kind of educational kind of um, game. Also, it kind of just brings you to the different kind of places in Scotland and how the clan system and all that kind of stuff worked. So
Hmm. And so it was, you're from South Uist. Did Hercules the bear,
oh
was
yeah.
that big news for you?
It was. I actually remember at the time. I actually met Hercules the bear once in
Wow.
North Uist. He was in when they were touring. Well, actually, it was the time he had just gone missing, so they were on tour in the Western Isles at the time.
Hmm.
So I remember meeting him down in I think it was Grimsey or somewhere like that. So they were in the back of a bus. So it was quite exciting to see this massive bear, you know. So,
I can
but
imagine. And how did you feel like when he escaped? Was there fear, or were
yeah,
people?
it was quite funny in that because people. I think there was also what do you call it, reward out for it. So everybody was very busy looking, but I think there was kind of a sense of fear also. You know, it was like don't be out walking by yourself and lock your doors and just be careful. You know, there's a bear on the loose. You know, so
Hide your honey.
hide your honey. Yes.
For me, I think that would make a really good game. The kind of
Yeah,
Hercules the bear escape. That I can
yeah,
see
yeah.
that as a game, um, from the perspective of the bear. Maybe
Oh
is
yeah,
it?
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
It must have
yeah.
been
Try
quite
to
a
find them or something
fantastical.
like that.
Hmm,
Sorry.
absolutely. It must have been quite a
Yeah.
fantastical thing to have happened on the islands. Like, I can't imagine there'd been many events like that before.
No, no, not that I can remember of anyway. So yeah, it was kind of quite, and also kind of what do you call it? It was a spotlight on the islands and all that. It was like news crews and everything like that. So
Hmm.
it was kind of quite interesting at the time.
And so
Not,
you,
I'm not too sure if anybody actually. I think somebody did get the reward,
oh, very good. I
but
hope so.
yeah.
Um, so you're from South East, and what was island like life? like what was island life like growing up?
Yeah, it was just it was kind of mostly kind of spent outside, really.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of going out on your bike, or there was always something to do. It was like helping your neighbours, whatever, with their corn or cattle or cutting peat, and
Mm-hmm.
so there was something also. There was something to do all the time. And then just kind of normal kind of school life, really. So
And do you
normal
miss that?
teenager. Sorry.
And do you miss that kind of sense of community of helping each other and always being there? And
Yeah, I think so. I don't go home that often, but I think there's kind of less of it now. I think well, people are kind of moving on to more kind of modern kind of ways of heating their homes and stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
or there's kind of less crofting, and people are kind of more concentrating on you know maybe making their own kind of businesses, from home or whatever. Well,
Mm-hmm.
there's just kind of less community or people coming together and stuff like that. So, and also a good thing of coming together at Kayleys and whist drives or bingos or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of,
Who doesn't love a Kaylee?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Which is good because it's kind of it brings out from older to younger to it's a big wide age range that brings
Mm-hmm.
people together. Which is quite nice.
Excellent. And so to finish off, do you have any advice for the people that are participating in this Games Jam? Um, they might be people that speak Gaelic. There might be people that don't speak Gaelic but are maybe a little bit interested. And maybe people that are just interested in making games about Scottish culture.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, for it to happen. I was actually I did some actually a game I was involved in. It was called the Bard's Tale.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so they used kind of some Gaelic words and stuff like that. So I found it quite interesting how it kind of it kind of just it puts another layer to certain things, and it's like there's quite a lot of culture that
Hmm.
maybe people aren't aware of. In Scotland, or or that kind of integration about language or whatever,
Hmm.
rather than saying, oh, it's like, why are you spending all this money on blah blah blah, for instance, roadsides and stuff like that. It's just a excuse me, where these kind of things, where it's kind of easier just to attack rather than to find out.
Hmm.
Well, maybe there's something that's a connection there somewhere along the line. Be it in a game, I think that's probably a great kind of way to kind of get children or younger kids involved. Not that I'm saying that older people don't play computer games or anything, but I think it's a great way to kind of get people involved and make it kind of I don't know if would I say the word well, acceptable, in a way, to rather than being bashing it all the time kind of stuff. And
Absolutely.
also, just to open it up wider uh, to younger children in different schools or whatever,
Hmm.
rather than just being looked at just Gaelic medium education kind of schools. So there's kind of a more outreach
Hmm.
there for so that people can integrate more.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. That's been really, really interesting, and we've really appreciated it.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Happily.
Okay, happily pay. Okay.